Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live from South Africa. So we are super excited to share tonight about this amazing technology. A lot of you know about this, maybe you don't know about this, but we're going to be talking about this product, the X39, this amazing stem cell activation patch. If you don't have the people, because I know a lot of people are inviting people, we're getting started right now. So make sure you text your friends, other people, shoot them a WhatsApp and let them know we're getting the meeting started right now. This is being also recorded live for those that can't be on, that you can forward this to them later. We're going to be sending it out to the people that are on here as far as a meeting. I'm Greg. This is my beautiful wife, Minna. Actually, Warmbier is our last name. One thing we want to do is be able to welcome everybody here, but most importantly, we're going to actually get started talking a little bit about this technology. Then we're going to also talk about an opportunity. Those of you that are just interested in finding out more about the X39, when we start talking about the opportunity, I encourage you to stay on to find out more about how you can get the product for free by referrals and stuff like that. But the main thing is if you got to jump off, that's fine. But I'm going to have my wife kind of kick it off with a couple disclosures because she is an attorney and we want to make sure we dot every I and cross every T on this meeting. So go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us, or good afternoon, I should say, for those
Or good evening.
Joining us. I did say good evening.
Oh, she's good morning too. Some people good morning.
You're joining us out of the USA. Please, when you jump on, please will you mute? Stay muted. Oh, gosh.
Yes, I got it. Go
Okay.
ahead.
We don't, we want to get through this presentation without any hiccups, and we want to make sure that everybody who is on here gets all the information that they need. Do take notes. And if you are on here and you've noted that somebody you've invited has not yet joined, please do give them a text and let them know that we're getting started. We are not medically trained. Some of you might have a medical background. So we're not here to tell you that this amazing little tiny product is going to do any miracles or cure or mitigate your situation, but we do know that it is making a huge difference in a lot of our friends' lives around the world. And so we feel it is our social responsibility to keep sharing. When you find something great and it changes the trajectory of people's lives and gives them hope, then why wouldn't you share? So do take notes. And if you are brand new this evening and you've not been on one of these opportunity Zooms, please put in the chat who you are. We welcome you. We thank you for being on here and who invited you. And make sure you get back with the person that invited you, and they will answer any questions that you do have. Okay?
Absolutely. And so one thing, we're going to get started in a minute, but one thing is that a lot of people say, well, how did you find out about it? My wife and I found out about this product about 2.5 years ago, specifically because we had heard some people talk about it, but I had a car accident back in 2016, and my good friend Ken Burke said, hey, Greg, I came across a stem cell activation patch. Are you guys use that? And I said, no, we haven't. We've heard a little bit about it. He came over the house with him and his wife, shared a little bit more about it. I said, I'll try anything. My wife was a lot skeptical, to put it that way. But I said, I'll try it. Well, for me, I had injury to my neck, my shoulder, my back. I had a knee injury down the road that affected my right hip. So I had 5 areas of pain. Literally, when I tried the patch, I put this little tiny patch on. And literally, it's about the size of a 5 rand coin, or a little bit bigger than a quarter in the United States. And literally, within 3 days later, no knee pain, no hip pain, no shoulder pain, no neck pain, no back pain. I'm like, what in the world is this? How does this work? And finally looked at all the stuff that he had sent me and realized that this is real. This is real technology. It's amazing. And we'll talk more about the technology and stuff like that. But really, the part that we want to do is make sure you understand that this is a tremendous product helping people. Since then, we can't make any guarantees or promises, but since then, we've personally been able to help people with things like Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, every kind of ailment imaginable, every kind of itis imaginable, all kinds of different things, and everything imaginable. That we'll share some of that in a little bit more in a minute. But the biggest thing that, once again, we're going to do is start sharing a PowerPoint presentation that explains a little bit more. So you definitely want to take some notes, write some things down. That's what we did the first time we saw a presentation like this. We took a lot of notes and basically wanted to research this more, and then we said, let's get started, which was pretty cool. So the best part about this, again, is we tell people, if you haven't patched yet, you want to talk to your friend and say, how do I get some patches? Because I want to be patched. Well, the first thing we started researching was the company itself, and the founder, actually David Schmidt, kept on coming up, and he's the CEO and inventor of the X39. Now he's actually got over 200 patents. We knew he had over 130, but he said he stopped counting at 130, but then he was recognized by the Board of Patents, or what do they call that basically now has over 200 patents, which is pretty amazing. He's a scientist and inventor specializing in age reversing. Thank God for people like this, right? So again, 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research because he knew that was the key to really reverse aging. And we're going to talk more about that. But this one product took 10 years, $4.5 million worth of research and development to come out with this one patch. So he's been working on this for a long time. When they launched it, the company took off. But when I had my results, I told my wife, she said, I don't think so. Go get checked out by your doctor. But so I sent her information, and so she saw the patent, which was pretty huge.
Yeah, so like Greg said, I was so skeptical. I wanted nothing to do with this. And, as an attorney, I understand that when you have a patent on a product, it is a one of a kind. They don't register a patent without proving that nobody else has this product. And then the other thing is you cannot make a certain factual statements without proving that, in fact, that does happen. Yeah. And so first and foremost, his result was undeniable. And then I looked at the website. I was open after I heard he stopped moaning. Okay, so that definitely was an indication that something had happened. And I looked at the website and I saw this patent and I decided, well, let me take a look at this. And I saw things like this paragraph: embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, which is a big one, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, improved wound healing. And I said, oh my goodness, like some of those things I'm interested in for myself. And so I decided, I'm going to take this opportunity and move forward.
Yeah. And she even said, we kind of joke about it. She said the first thing that helped her out was her ears didn't hurt so much from me whining. Yeah. So that was one of the first things that helped out with. But literally, I mean, I used, when you have pain and you roll over in bed and you're in pain and you get up and you're in pain, you stand, I mean, it's not good. And we have a tendency, especially at home, to go, oh, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of crazy. So having done that for 2.5 years was pretty amazing. So how this patch really works is that why this patch specifically is because what happens is that as we start growing and growing and growing and growing, we get all this stem cell activity is happening, growing our organs, growing our skin, growing our hair, growing everything, all the things. But when you stop growing, say at 18, 19, 20 years old, your stem cells start going dormant. So by the time that you're 30, you have half the stem cell activity you had when you're younger. And by the time you're 60, you have 5 to 10% maybe. Now, I felt it. I was 52 at the time, had all these injuries, all these different things that were going on. And I felt like I was honestly in my 60s. I kind of joke around, so I feel like my 60s going to my 70s. I mean, when you get up and you're kind of doing the shuffle because you can't really get moving and stuff like that, it was not good. And long story short on that, after the patch, now I'm 54, I feel like I'm in my 30s. Probably slipping into my 20s because it's amazing how much better I feel and how amazing it's been. So one of the things that we try to do more than anything else is make sure that people understand how stem cells work. And when you start activating stem cells, your body starts acting younger. It's absolutely amazing. So I'll have my wife talk about the next thing here.
So how does the X39 work? It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. So if you understand red light therapy, it's similar, okay? Patented nanocrystal technology. We have a lot of people asking us, are there stem cells in here? No, there are not. It's nanocrystal, it's all organic, it's natural. It reflects our own light to activate it. It's not transdermal, doesn't put anything into the body, no drugs, no chemicals or stimulants, and not invasive. And once again, the disclaimer, LifeWave is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition.
Yeah, so a lot of us experience light therapy every day when we go out in the sunshine. It's beautiful here in South Africa during the day. The sun shines out all the time. Well, our skin is our biggest organ. So when the sun comes out and hits our skin, literally it elevates things in our body like vitamin D. So people know we get vitamin D from the sun, but the sun's not pushing out vitamin D, it's pushing out a frequency of light that interacts with our skin that elevates basically vitamin D in our body. Well, it's the same thing with this. Our body emits light. If I put on night vision goggles, we all glow in the dark. So the light from our body hits the patch, reflects back in, and basically then starts activating the copper peptides that activate our stem cells. So it's absolutely brilliant. So you can put it on and start getting results right away, which is neat. And some of the benefits that we see, this is just some of them, again, is increased strength. We get pages and pages and pages of these, but increased strength, reduced inflammation, which is huge. Like Mena mentioned, it's really the root cause of every disease and every dis-ease, as they call it. Basically, it's increased stamina is a huge thing. Energy and vitality. Yes, I talk fast. I'm trying to talk slow. Sorry. But you have a lot of energy, but also the mental clarity. I had long COVID, basically, was forgetting all kinds of stuff. I felt like I had a brain fog. Weeks later, I felt like I walked out of a cloud. I'm like, I can see clearly now. The fog is gone. It was amazing. Restored muscle and skeletal conditions. This is a whole story on another level. I could tell you about that, but improvement of sleep. I'm like to share a bit about that.
And I was sharing with someone today, I haven't slept, or I hadn't slept for many, many years. Slept well. I did, I had bits and pieces of sleep here and there, like 2 hours at a time, but always thought, it's just normal for attorneys to lie awake at night and worry. It's, what you sign up for, because you worry about your clients and you worry about making the right decision. And so for many years, that's how I lived my life. Just whatever sleep I could get, that was great. And I had no idea that using this product, one of the reasons what I was looking for was reduction in inflammation, okay? Mm-hmm. And when a week and a half after wearing this patch, I had the best sleep. Like one night, I put my head on the pillow and I slept right through, and I woke up rejuvenated, refreshed, feeling like something happened, something's different. And I thought to myself, oh, it's a one-off, it was just a great night. And honestly, for 2.5 years now, I sleep right through. Mm-hmm. And I have a deep sleep, a REM sleep, I'm dreaming, I remember my dreams, and they're not always great dreams, but I am remembering them. But, and that to me was an absolute blessing, because I did not think that will be one of the results. But people are experiencing that, and it's amazing. Because if you don't sleep, your body gets ill.
That's right. And it's very important to get deep sleep, as we talk about. And so the other part is improved skin appearance. She also had some challenges with
eczema and some allergies on my hands and things like that. And, there was a number of years in and out of the dermatologist's office, trying to figure out what the problem is, and nothing really helped. And now completely clear. I mean, my hands used to be so full of like an eczema and an allergy, something like
red,
that.
Itchy,
and completely gone.
Yeah, and so what really that we're trying to do more than anything else is achieve optimal health, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And that's what everybody's looking for. And this product actually does that. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, so this is a topography map. It's a scan of a 77-year-old woman's brain. David Schmidt wanted to show inflammation in the brain. And so session 1 is a scan of her brain prior to putting on the X39. And then from there, he asked her please to wear the X39, which is this, at the back of her neck, and to wear it consistently day in, day out, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and to stay hydrated. So she didn't change her diet, she didn't do additional exercise or supplement anymore or any less, and she just wore this patch. Session 1 is the scan. It shows a lot of red, a lot of orange, and a lot of bright colors. And David explains that. He says that's inflammation in the brain. And it's because there's so much inflammation in the brain, it's a lack of brain coherence. Stem cells are not really active. Session 2, the lady does the same thing for 3 weeks running, and you see a lot of the red and orange are no longer there, meaning that there is no more inflammation and improved brain coherence. So that inflammation has detoxed. Session 3 is only 6 weeks later. And there's a complete turnaround, better brain coherence. You see even the blue and the green hues there are now evenly spread on that scan, whereas before they were clumped. So it's a complete turnaround. No more, people experience things like PTSD or anxiety, fear, worry, and those are the kind of things that people have when there is inflammation in the brain. And at session 3, only 6 weeks later. And David says if he had scanned the heart or any other organ, it probably would have looked like her brain did at session 1.
Absolutely. And so what's interesting is that you can also look at the long-term results. A lot of people think, well, how long should I wear it? I've been wearing it for, both of us have been wearing it for over 2.5 years, and we love it. We're not going to stop using it because the results you get are massive. And this is just a couple different examples, but they talk about this on thisisit.info.com. You can look at these different case studies, but the very first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset to a younger, healthier state. I still don't understand how that works. All I know is your body starts basically going into a reboot, and basically your body starts feeling better, all kinds of different things. That's why some people are one patch wonders. They put the patch on and they wonder where the pain goes or wonder why they feel so good. But the other thing is there's other things out there that also reset genes. So you might have heard of like resveratrol, which is in red wine, but the one thing they talk about, that's a hero product in a lot of these supplements that are out there, but that resets genes. It resets 2 genes. This resets 4,000. So just give you an idea the significant difference on it. So within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. That's what men have showed. Their hormones balance. Your body goes into homeostasis is really what this is trying to do. And within 3 months, your collagen levels increased 2, 3, 400%. So when you understand the difference on that, how many people are drinking, collagen shots or collagen powders or drinking different kinds of stuff that once again, they go into that. It's amazing all this, you go into a store, basically it's got a whole row now of, all these collagen products. But again, that's not easy absorbed. This is naturally doing, which is great. But within 6 months, this is the big one. Your heart reverses in age, an average of 8 years younger based upon a lot of the studies you're doing within 6 months. That is absolutely amazing when you think about cardiovascular and heart disease, and it's the number 1 killer still in the world. So if we can help reverse that, what a difference. And that's why David says this is not anti-aging, it's age reversing, and he can prove it scientifically. It's pretty amazing.
So how do you wear it? You wear your patch 12 hours on, 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate, and then you throw it away, you put a new one on the next day. And in these graphics here, you see the patch underneath the belly button or behind the neck, because David wanted to be really consistent when he did his clinical trials and show the patch worn in specific areas, which are really hot spots. But you really can wear it anywhere. That's what David says, is you can stick it where it hurts. And then you've got to drink lots of good water, stay hydrated, make sure that it's water that's mineralized, or add additional minerals, Celtic salts or Himalayan salt, cucumber, watermelon, and also coconut water is really helpful. So very simple. You just peel the back of it and then you stick it on.
Very, very simple.
So peel, patch, and pray.
Yep, exactly. So the good part is we have some people say, well, you're back of your neck and your belly. No, just one place. And normally I've always worn mine in the back of the neck. It's wherever you want to put it, but I had 5 areas of pain. I wasn't going to wear 5 patches, just put on one, and one did it. So the one thing we do know is that X39 is very sophisticated. It took 10 years to develop, yet it's very simple to explain. It's like, put it on, 12 hours later, take it off. Very simple. But the testimonies on X39 is life-changing and very emotional. We literally have had lives may change like you couldn't imagine. We could spend hours just talking about just a handful of the different testimonials. But one thing we do know is that absolutely the X39 absolutely works. So to give you some ideas, we've had some people that have said, well, are doctors using this? Yes, doctors all over the world. This is an example of just one of them. That's basically, he's a plastic surgeon, a facial plastic surgeon that uses lasers basically for the eyelids and facial plastic surgery. And one thing he heard about this product, and he said, I wonder if people's recovery time might be even quicker, because when he does the laser plastic surgery, they said the recovery time is 6 to 8 weeks. So figure a month and a half to 2 months to get back to the recovery the way that you were before. Well, what's interesting, he heard about the wound healing on this. I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this a sleeve to the people, every single client, 30 days prior to them having the procedure, and say, this is what you want to do. It becomes part of their protocol. Well, what happens is that now when he started doing that, he realized that people's recovery time was 7 to 10 days on average. Well, from 6 to 8 weeks to 7 to 10 days. That's amazing. So he said, if you want to work with me, you must use this patch, which is pretty amazing. Another doctor that's on our website, actually there's a video on there of him being interviewed talking about why this patch. And he said, he heard about it. He's like, what's this little tiny thing going to do, right? And then he realized, he said the stuff that he has, these red light therapy beds that people lay in for 10, 15, 20 minutes. People drive from all over the place to basically come to him to basically get their therapy. But he said, well, this is actually, that's high level therapy for a short period of time, where this is low level therapy for a long period of time, 12 hours a day. Because I bet it work in conjunction. He was blown away by what this did. So you want to watch the video. He said, if you want to work with me, you must use this patch now. It's pretty amazing. So a lot of things like that. But we have also a lot of other testimonials. Once again, I could have thousands of these. Basically, day 1, day 40. I wish we would have done ours. Day 42, day 365, basically a year later. If you don't notice the difference, it's pretty significant. But talking about significance, this is what she looks like now. If you don't notice the difference there, it's going to help with your eyesight as well. So, which is kind of cool. So, but the cool thing about this is you look at all the different things that people have. This is another accident. I fell through the ceiling, fell through the rafters, literally broke 6 ribs, punctured his lung. The word they use is extreme discomfort. I think he used a little more than that. But once again, they said his expected recovery was a minimum of 6 weeks. If you look at the time, he was back to work within 3 weeks. So with the 17th to the 23rd, that's a week, and then basically 13 days later, look at the difference there. We've shown this a lot of doctors, people, they go, that's not normal. Well, when you have something that actually activates your stem cells, or recovery is absolutely staggering. We've had people with, once again, skin conditions, different kinds of things. Once again, like Mena was talking about, all this kind of stuff. It's amazing difference. We could show you thousands of these. It's absolutely amazing the difference that people have. Again, we have other things like things that are like vertigo, which is not a normal thing that people have, but when someone has that, it continues to get worse. What happens if you add stem cells to the equation? Things start reversing. It's pretty amazing the difference. And I'll have Mena talk about this next one here.
So this is a good friend of mine, Eleni, and we met her at church like 6 years ago, and I had no idea that she had this condition. She told me, and the only people that knew were myself and her husband, and she had tried absolutely everything. The steroid injections in the hair, supplements, potions, lotions, whatever she could get her hands on. And she was pretty much investing in hats and wigs because, as a realtor, you got to go out there, look presentable and for secure, just to feel secure and be able to do what you have to do. That's what she did. So when we found out about this, which was 2.5 years ago, I looked at it and I started to see some things happening for my friends and so on. And I thought, I wonder if this will help Eleni. And so I shared it with her and I shared the website, and she took a look at all the information and she said, well, what do I have to lose? I'm going to try it. I've tried everything and nothing's worked. And you can see the difference,
Yes.
The before
Amazing.
and the after. And so she's ditched her hats and her wigs and is so excited
self-confidence gone through
and
the
so
roof.
grateful to God because, we all pray for something to change in our lives, and she was praying. And, sometimes God brings it in the form of a little patch that maybe we think is so insignificant, but it's so natural and so healthy. And look at the results that people are getting. Yeah. So that's why we shared. And she's forever grateful that I even thought of her. So
yeah. And so the difference is that when you talk about things like this could be one thing, skin condition, whatever, but imagine having someone that has actually severe Parkinson's. We have actually a good friend of ours. This is actually a few months ago. They actually posted this Lifeway patches, and with the grace of God and their lives, we in awe of miracles of our lives. He was now water skiing. When we first met him on a Zoom like this, we actually got a chance to speak with his wife, got a chance to talk to him via WhatsApp. He lives here in South Africa, and had late stages of Parkinson's, not good. Lily would get up in the morning, eat some breakfast, take a handful of pills, and go back to bed, not have any existence. Couldn't really feed himself anymore. Couldn't brush his teeth. He said, "You don't understand." Couldn't shave his beard. Couldn't do all this stuff. And literally, they're talking about now, home care, basically home nurses, stuff like that. Well, 4 days later, him using this patch, his wife calls up our friend, screaming and crying, going, "Oh my goodness, my husband's a different person. What's in this thing?" And we're like, "There's nothing in it. His body's starting to do better." And his recovery has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, if you understand, I honestly don't know if he'd still be here today if we didn't talk to him a couple of years ago, but he's doing absolutely phenomenal of his best life.
It was February or March of 2023. And, he also said, we gave him the website and he said to look at, because we can't give anybody guarantees.
We don't know.
And so when he looked at the website with his wife, he said, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
The doctors gave him no hope.
No.
They told him it's only going to get worse. Yeah. And Andre told us, I'd rather die. He would rather die than live like that. Yeah. And we had no idea what was going to happen. But praise God, here he is water skiing. Can you imagine the man with such bad tremors?
That he couldn't even.
Now he's able to lift himself up and water ski. It's just amazing.
It's amazing. So this is just an example. We could go through like thousands of testimonials, but we want you to understand this product absolutely works. It's, like I said, it's simple to explain. And once again, when you start seeing your friends, your family, your acquaintances, people that you know, coworkers, whatever, neighbors, having challenges that are now recovering and doing amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal. So how we basically get this information is we go to the website, thisisit.info.com. The website specifically for information only on this product, but they have testimonials on there where we can watch videos and see other people talking about this, seeing the results they've had, and every kind of ailment imaginable. The biggest part of this, once again, we tell people, check this out, check it out more. I said the best way to do your research is to put a patch on. Once again, wear it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but literally do your research while you're wearing the patch, which is pretty amazing. So again, I'll have Mena tell more about the company.
So when we got started, we had no idea that LifeWave was actually a 20-year-old company already, open in over 80 countries right now. 75 it says there, but they're opening more countries as they go. And when we got started, the company was sitting at about 20 million US. Okay, then they introduced the X39, which is this product that we're sharing with you. And since the introduction of this product, the company has grown astronomically. From 20 million US, we closed at over 600 million last year. So growth of about 580 million US in 4 years. It's unheard of. Why? Because introduction of one product. I mean, they were doing 20 million in revenue before the introduction of this product. And David says, he's the founder and inventor, he says that we are predicted to close at over $1 billion US this year, because people like us are sharing, because we care.
Yes.
We know that people are in need of something that's going to help them and give them hope again, like our friend Andre, like Dana, like Eleni. So we go and we share and we keep sharing, and people are using it, they're seeing the results, and they're then sharing with their friends. So the other thing I love about this, is not a Me Too product. Today we had a guest over, and she hasn't heard about it. And people have been talking about this for the last 3 years, so she hadn't heard about it. When we share this with our friends, a lot of them say, my goodness, what is that? How do I get it? Send me some information. But if I had to share a skincare, products, in fact, I was at the store the other day and a lady stopped me and she's like, hey, would you like to try this? And I asked her what it was, and she said it's for hydration and so on. And then I said, well, you can try it on my hand, but I do use a skincare range. And so she asked me what it was, and I said, I really like it, etc. She was trying to sell me something that I already have what I like. So there's a lot of competition with skincare, with supplements, with weight loss products, but we don't have any competition with this amazing little technology.
It's absolutely amazing, yeah. And so what's great about this too is that they're number one momentum ranked company in the world too. Fastest growing network in the entire world. In fact, they've won all kinds of awards. So they've won what's called the DSN 2024 Global Bravo Awards, literally 2 years in a row. And this is a 4-year of the companies that are growing the most over the past 4 years. So they won it last year, won again this year. It's pretty amazing because, and even the guy who runs these awards, he goes, no one was even close. Well, think about it. Go from 20 million to 600 million. That's going to be $1 billion company. No one's going to catch it. So what's neat about this, once again, is the couple we work with are the name of Steve and Gina Merritt. So Steve's here in the black and Gina's over here. Meredith Burkish in the middle here with the blue is actually the president of the company. Phenomenal. They're taking companies to billions of dollars, which is pretty amazing. And of course, there's David Schmidt. This was actually at a conference at our church. This is an outside pavilion that we have that we used in August of 2022, right? 2023, sorry. Yeah. We got September 22 when we got started. So 2023. And what was interesting about that is that literally we had about 1,800 people there. Now our team, and again, this is just a portion of the team, but now our team is approaching 500,000 people. Our goal is to be over 1 million people by the end of this year. So if you understand the growth trajectory, it's absolutely huge. And so once again, Steve and Gina, actually, the reason our name of our company is, or the name of our team is This Is It, is because Steve was a professional water skier. He literally had 13 different surgeries. When he tried the patch, he had pain all over his body, everything else. And he said he was taking handfuls of Excedrin and pain pills, whatever they call them, basically like ibuprofen. His wife's like, you can't keep doing that. It's not good for you. And he goes, well, I got to keep moving forward. So then they tried the patch. Within a week, his pain was gone. And his wife's like, this is it. This is it, because for a year they were praying for the right company, the right product, something that all their friends could use, something that's going to help their friends and family or else. They're praying for the right compensation, the right leadership. They said, this is it. This is everything they're looking for. Today, we're the fastest growing whole team in the entire company and literally in the world, which is pretty amazing if you understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of shift right now. We're going to talk a little bit more about an opportunity. Because again, we shared a lot from a product standpoint. Hopefully you got some information from that. You can take a look at thisisit.info.com. But really, we're going to talk a little bit more from a business standpoint. And really, I want you to think about, more importantly, is what's most important in your life? Is your health your most important? That's very important to me. Very
Your
important
health
to my
is your
wife.
wealth.
Yeah, think about your health is your wealth. Our family is very important to us. Time is very important to spend our time with our family, everything else. But a couple of years ago, literally when I first saw this business, literally freedom was the number one thing for me because I was working a job that was not good. My company I worked with for many years, they actually went from like a mentorship management to a tour mentorship management. Is the only way I can explain it. They basically just became these micromanagers that were just pounding every single day, no matter what was going on, whether I was producing or not producing, whatever was going on, it was just not good, and it was a toxic environment. I said I want it out. So thank God, with the help of my wife, our team that we worked with, everything else, within 14 months was able to replace my six-figure income, making over $10,000 a month. A couple months later, was able to say, you know what, bye-bye. I fired my job January 8th of 2024 and walked into freedom. Total financial independence, something I've been praying for literally decades because I didn't want to continue working for someone else. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be able to get up with my wife whenever we wanted to get up, travel like we're doing right now. And freedom is amazing, and it's available. Since then, we've quadrupled our income, and literally it's been growing by leaps and bounds. So the other things that people talk about is security. What about having a secure financial future? I'm not talking about barbed wire fences and gates and bars on your windows. I'm talking about financial security. If you like to travel, that's another thing we've been able to do a lot of, and we've actually won 7. Think about the 7 free incentive trips since we got started with the business. 7 free trips. It's been absolutely amazing. Better health is a huge thing. Obviously, how about less debt? How about zero debt? Now, if you like the idea of some of these different things or anything above and beyond this, you want to talk to the person who invited you so we can help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. We talked to Steve and Gina Merritt, said this is our goal. I want to create financial independence, and they told us exactly what to do, and we're going to share a little bit more with you on that. But really be serious about what's important in your life. Now, the one thing we're going to talk about is an opportunity, and usually there's 3 different kind of responses that people kind of have when they take a look at a business like this. Number one is someone says, yeah, can I get some more information? That would be what we call a number 3. Let the person know I'm a number 3, want to get you some information, and we're going to professionally follow up with you, answer questions that you might have, stuff like that in the next day or 2. A number 2 would be someone says, I like the idea of what you're talking about here, and I like the idea that you're basically be a brand partner, get the thing at wholesale. I'll explain a little bit more about that, be a number 2. And by the time I get done, you might say, I'm a number 1. I want to get started. I'm going to run with this because I got big dreams. I got big goals. Yeah. So at the very end, we're going to say that. But again, we call it a 3, 2, 1 launch, right? So if the ones will help you get launched. But how we make money is pretty simple. There's really 3 different ways I'm going to kind of talk about right now. And the main one is basically by developing a network. If you don't understand a network, you don't have to worry about it. But really what happens is you become a brand partner, a wholesale brand partner, which is great. So I always tell people, would you rather pay retail or would you rather get the product at wholesale? I've never had anybody say, I want to pay retail, I want to pay retail. I was like, I want to get wholesale. But the second part to that is I said, how would you like to get the product for free? And most people are like, how does that work? How do I get product free? Well, what happens is that when you become a brand partner, you get the product wholesale, but then when you share with other people, could be a friend, could be a family member, could be a neighbor, you're probably already thinking of people, oh my goodness, this could help my cousin, this could help my neighbor, this could help my coworker, this could help my wife, could help my whatever. But what happens is that, say you got a brother here and you got a sister here and you got a coworker and you got a neighbor over here. You find 2 people on your right, 2 people left, you become what's called a manager. And as a manager, you can make up to $1,500 per week. Again, it doesn't start there. It starts at 100 and 200 and 300 and 400. It starts growing and growing and growing. But as you start growing that, all of a sudden this person over here says, I want to be a manager. This person over here says, I want to be a manager. And all of a sudden you got a manager right and a manager left. Now you're still putting people down and putting people in the business, and they're putting people in, they're putting people in. And what happens now, as a manager, the right manager left, you become a director and you can make up to $2,500 a week. That's huge if you understand that. Now, it doesn't start there. It starts growing from there. But in this one way, you can make up to $25,000 a week. Now, it's capped there, not a bad cap. $1.3 million is not a bad cap. But again, I want you to understand, this is something that's not going to happen overnight. But what if we could help you make an extra 20,000 Rand, and I'll use an example of South African Rand, 20,000 Rand per month. That's about a little over $1,000. So if we could help you make even $1,000 a month, would that help you and your family at this point? If we can help you do that per week, would that be helpful? 20,000 Rand per week, an extra $1,000 per week, would that be helpful? Because it can be a lot more than that if you want it to be. So what happens is that as a manager, you basically find 2 people on the right, 2 people left, and you can make up to 1,500. But in that progression, all of a sudden you're going to find managers who say, I want to be a manager, I want to be a manager. Then you can make up to 2,500. Well, senior director at 3,500, this was significant for us because as soon as we started doing this, we're making over $1,000 a week. So if you like the idea of 20,000 Rand a week or $1,000 a week, as we say, basically we want to help you get senior director done. That's really what it takes. Now, once again, when you hit executive, for us, that was a 6-figure residual income. I always look at that, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is helping us to set free for $10,000 a month. That we hit that, and all of a sudden that set us free. Well, what amazing part about that, 6 weeks later, we hit presidential. That's called massive momentum. And all of a sudden, this past year, we hit presidential director, senior presidential director, which is the highest rank within the whole company. And literally, God has blessed us abundantly. We got business now in 36 countries. I think we might have more now, but 36 countries around the world, and basically financial independence, where we got money coming in every single day, and it's a huge blessing. So why we say that to you is not because we're special, it's because the program works. And if you work the program, it'll work for you, and we can help you, because we're gonna take our time, our energy to help you, and the people that are actually here on the team. But the one that my wife got really excited about was the unlimited one.
Yeah, so you know what, if there's money on the table, you want to get it, right? And it's not just because you want to go out there and buy all these wonderful things. Some people like those, the shiny things, okay? And it's not a bad thing to have something nice, but when you have more, you can bless more. And that was my why. Is to be able to bless people and to be able to bless ministries and missions and things around the world without having my hands tied. I think that's what God intended for us, to be givers. So matching bonus and unlimited income potential is literally that. Unlimited. We saw a limited a way of earning.
First way, yeah.
The first way that we earn, because we earn in 4 ways right now. So the first way is limited. This is unlimited, and people are literally making over $100,000 a week. Okay, sounds too big and too good to be true, but it's literally happening. It's factual.
Yep.
So how does this unlimited income potential work, and the matching bonus work? Well, you get paid off of your first, your second, and your third generation. For instance, if we signed up Fontini, who is our first generation, and Fontini made $25,000. Say she maxed on the binary at $25,000 a week. We get paid 25% of that. That is $6,250.
But if she starts at 100, we make 25.
Yeah,
If she makes 1,000,
wherever she starts.
Yep.
Every week we get paid 25% of her binary.
Yep.
Then Fontini goes and she adds her friend Elaine, and Elaine is second generation to us, first generation to Fontini, but we're going to get 20% off of what Elaine makes on the binary.
And then
Fontini will make the 25%, and then Elaine goes and adds her friend Anna, and Anna is third generation to us. We'll get 20%, and Fontini gets 20%, and Elaine will get 25% because it's first generation. So no matter how far down, a left leg and a right leg, your first, second, and third generation you are getting paid these matching bonuses. Now, if, for instance, okay, and we have more than 200 people on our first generation.
Yeah, you can as many as you want.
So with 200 people on a weekly basis, we're getting paid 25% off of 200 people, them a matching bonus off of them. And this is where people are actually making money while they sleep.
Yeah.
When I look at our back office on a Sunday night and we see, okay, this is how much we did for our week, because we get paid every week. So our week runs Monday to Sunday. And on Sunday, it closes out at 0 to start the next week, okay? Monday morning, when we look in our back office, we have money there already. And we were sleeping, 11 p.m. through the next morning, we're sleeping. But there's money. Why? Because we have partners in different countries. And it's just absolutely amazing. And then there's this residual, passive way of making income, and it's just ongoing. And in all honesty, for me, it just sets me free in my mind to know that we just can give more. We just can give more.
Bless more people.
Without
to be a blessing.
being concerned about what's in our bank account for us, And the Bible does say, he wants us to have more than enough. Why? So that others can be blessed in turn.
Yeah, and I always use the example of imagine, really, what happens is that you find someone who comes in and they bring in 100 people or 1,000 people or whatever, doesn't matter what it is. Those people bring people in who bring people in. It's unlimited how many people you have here. They can bring in unlimited people they can bring in. So literally, we have now approaching 7,000 people on our team around the world in all these different countries. And like I said, we're just getting started. We're literally just getting started. We're expecting to have 100,000 people on our team in the next several years because that's our goal. So we want to bless as many people, as possible, which is pretty amazing. So again, you figure out whatever you want to make. So that's really the second way we make money, and really how we make the money. The third way is basically when we register someone. So when someone registers, we want to register them at the wholesale price. So this is what a normal application looks like, a normal order form looks like, and there's really 3 different options for someone to get registered. But what happens is that if you start at wherever you want to start, we basically tell people there's really 3 different options. One is what's called a core, and a core is basically where you get 3 sleeves. This is how you get at a wholesale price. You got to buy at least 3 sleeves to get a wholesale. So instead of paying $150 per sleeve, it's basically $99 a sleeve. So in this case, it's $295 for 3 sleeves. To me, that was a good deal because I was spending $400 to $500, sometimes $600 a month on all these different things that I had: chiropractic, acupuncture, acupressure, all these different treatments, all these different things, CBDs,
Plus,
essential oils.
No quality of life.
No.
Just
everything helped a little, and I'll say a little because it didn't nothing alleviated the challenges that I had. So what happens for me, this has been a cost savings, but for other people, it might be an expense. But again, $100 a month by comparison to other things, it's not expensive. It's very inexpensive compared to $20,000 to $30,000 is going to invest in stem cell injections, which may or may not have worked. So that's typically for someone, of course, for someone who just wants to try the product and experience the power of X39. An advance is someone says, I want to build a business. I want to basically start building a business because now you basically start igniting the power of this as a business. And by doing that, you now get 6 sleeves and they give it to you at a greater discount, which is great. The other one is a premium. This is the most popular one because it basically, for us, we wanted to get as much product as possible, not so we could go around and just sell patches or give people sleeves or no. Steve and Gina told us, once again, they've made $50 million prior to actually being a part of this company. They said, Greg and man, this is what we're doing. They just started a few months before us. They said, this is what we're doing. This is what we recommend you. And I go, that makes sense. They said, when someone registers, what's a core, advanced, or premium, you lend them one of your sleeves so they can start using it for themselves, for the husband, for wife, or whatever. And then when their product comes in 4, 5, 6 days later, they just give you one back. So I'm like, that's amazing. So I can just lend to somebody and they get it back. Lend it to them. We call it place and replace. So we did that. So we got the most popular pack, which is the premium pack, which is 20 sleeves for $1,750. Some people say that's a lot of money. I'm like, compared to traditional business, that's nothing. This is like the least expensive business investment we've ever had, right? So the most important part to that was that we made that money back in 2.5 weeks. How do we make it back? Well, what happens when we register someone else as a premium, we get $405 as what they call a product introductory bonus. Advanced, they get $75, and a core, they get $35. So what happened with this is we signed up several premiums, several advanced, several cores, and we made that money back in 2.5 weeks. Our very first month, we made almost $3,000. Now, most of it was in this way. We had a little bit of residual, but then the residual started kicking in, and I'm going, this is getting really, really, really exciting. So the part that I would let people know also is that when you get a premium, you also are paid out for basically, they give you enough points, as they call it, because we're paid in points. And basically, you have enough points to keep you active for 3 months. So you're, in this case, for anybody who starts today, they're covered for June, July, August. You don't have to buy anything till basically towards the end of September. So what's nice about that is they give you 3 months of this. If you buy the core or the advance, you want to get set up on the monthly subscription. So if you want to explain that a little bit. So you want to stay active.
So in order to stay active and to have all the points accumulating and flowing up to you and not zeroing out, you have to be on initially 1 sleeve, but then you want to transition to 2 sleeves. So a sleeve looks like this. It has 30 patches, 1 for every day. And in order to be a manager and above in this business, you need to be on a 2-sleeve subscription. Now, for us, it's $200. That's our monthly expense, okay, a month.
Yeah.
But on our weekly payouts, it covers this like 100 times over,
Yeah.
So we're not really seeing that as an expense. It actually is, and we're using it.
Yeah.
We're using it to reactivate our own stem cells. So the other thing is, people might say, well, you know what, I literally cannot start at a premium.
I got it. One second, very quick, sorry.
What did you do?
No, something
Okay.
came on. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can't start at a premium. You can start at a core. You can start at wherever you're comfortable starting, because you
check
can.
this out.
Okay, sorry. You can upgrade. You can upgrade, once you're at a core, you can upgrade to an advanced further down the line, and you can upgrade to a premium.
And you just pay the differential.
Yeah, and these are start-up, one-time purchase
Yeah.
packs, one time.
Yeah, so it's we bought this one time, and our monthly expense is $200 a month.
Yeah.
I get a sleep, she gets a sleep, that's it.
And
the
the-
rest of it's profit.
And the
like
other thing,
99.99%.
the other thing is for anybody,
Go ahead.
do you want to just mute?
Yes, I've tried
Sorry.
before.
Okay. The other thing is for anybody who is getting started, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee, no matter what package you purchase. So that's
There's no
where
risk.
there is no risk. You know, I've never walked into like a CVS and purchased like some supplements and then used them and said, "Hey, please, can I get my money back?" But you can use these this in the 30-day period and then ask for your money to be returned.
Yeah.
Because
Which we don't
David
people do.
believes his product works.
Yeah, and it does.
It's making a difference.
Yeah, and the one thing we always tell people is that you want to use it a minimum of 90 days. The reason why we say that because the studies they've done, they said 80% of the people notice significant differences within 30 days, 97% within 90 days. So we always tell people the longer you wear this, the more effective it's going to be. So keep that in mind as we're talking about this, that again, we tell people, once again, we've had people say, well, I'm just going to use this for 90 days. That's fine. That's a good accord with that, and then you can set up an auto ship after that to continue using it. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see results, and it's absolutely amazing the difference on this. So the part of this is once again the company's website as well.
So this is
Our
at
team website.
info.com. The team put the website together. We don't have to do anything. It's a plug and play. We get this for free. It's part of the package. This is at info.com, has all the information you need on the product. It has the testimonials. It has the patents and everything that people. So we share this with doctors, and we share it with the mother who stay at home with her children. This is a team.com website. This website is for those of us who say, you know what, I like what I see, and I have a reason why. I want something to change. I want to change my story. I want to be able to get out of debt. I want to be able to feel good. I want to be able to share this with people because I care about them. So this is a team.com. Will help you to get started. Will help you to share with people. Like, what do you say? It has scripts. It has how to onboard. It takes you through the 10-step pattern. It gives you the system, because the system is not a secret.
No.
How to actually go from manager all the way to SPD, Senior Presidential Director, is not a secret. In fact, we want to give it all out to everybody because we want everybody to get it done. So whatever you need, it's like your textbook to get success in this opportunity and to help the people that you share with get success, because we just duplicate. It's duplicatable and scalable.
That's the reason for a system. And so even on here, if you go to there, it says LifeWave compensation plan. Some people might go, how does this thing work? I don't quite understand it. It's like, we just give a high level overview. There's 2 videos in there you can watch. One's from Steve Merritt. The other one's from Danny McDaniel. 2 very successful people in this team, have built in this industry for a long time, and they explain it very, very well. There's also different Zoom meetings you can tie into. So we have all these different weekly Zooms that people can tie into. So again, I'd recommend seeing it again and again and again. But the best way to do this is get registered, get started today, and then tie into the other Zooms and tie other
And
people's
bring
Zooms.
friends in.
Yeah, so like even tonight in the United States, it's 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. At night. Tomorrow also they have one that's basically 9 p.m. South African time, 8 p.m. Is
Greenwich Meridian.
Meridian time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing the Sydney meeting. Actually, it's going to be 12 o'clock in South Africa. It's going to be 6 a.m. In the United States. But if you know anybody in Sydney, anybody in
New Zealand, Australia.
Yeah. Tie them into that meeting. Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, they have, and once again, Friday at noon, which is, again, is a very short 30-minute meeting, which is 6 p.m. South African European time. But then they have team teachings every Saturday, and this is what we recommend. They just did a phenomenal teaching this past Saturday, and if you haven't seen that, you can also have the person share that with you as well. People have actually been in this industry for a long time, just got involved in business, and are already making a big six-figure income in a very quick time. So again, it's whatever you want to do, but again, tie into the system, tie into the team teachings that we have, which is absolutely brilliant. So there's one other thing that we mentioned. Again, there's a conference coming up, and it's virtual. We're going to be in person in Orlando. It's almost completely sold out, but it's going to be August 8th, 9th, and 10th in Orlando, Florida, in the United States. We live in Florida, so we're driving over there. We got a ton of people coming in. We have people flying in from South Africa, from Australia, from Europe, and all over to this, coming into the meeting itself because they want to be there in person. But it's also that if you want to scan that to find out more, we can talk to you more about that.
And they also have virtual. So
Yes,
if people
this was
want
virtual.
want to get virtual tickets, they're going to get the same information that we're going to get.
Absolutely, yep. And then you have 45 days after to even watch that. So, so really the last thing here is if you're serious about your dreams that we're talking about, if things are important to you and you're like, you know what, I want to make some changes in my life. In order to make changes in your life, you got to make some changes in your life, right? So once again, the one thing we always tell people is that we're hope dealers, not dope dealers. We tell people, again, this is hope for your future, not only physically, not only mentally, but also financially. Our lives are completely different now. I mean, it's within literally 14 months, everything changed. But for us in the past 2.5 years, it's been a total game changer. It's setting our family free financially for the rest of our lives. And one of the biggest parts of this is that we want you to get started. Get started with X39 today. We got the order form. I always tell people, what you want to do is the person that talked to you about that, pull out the order form. Once again, you can do that. They can fill it out, or they can basically get your details and type in the details tonight, this afternoon, wherever you're located, and they get you registered. Because what happens once you get registered, then people get registered underneath you, and you start having people on your team. It's very exciting how things happen. Like I said, we sponsored a couple hundred people. Now we got almost 7,000 people on our team. It's pretty exciting what's going on. So again, the best thing with this more than anything else is once again, get back together with the person that invited you. If you say, hey, I'd like to talk with Greg and Ben in person, chances are the person who invited you knows this personally, and we can get on the phone with you, get on the Zoom meeting with you.
Yeah, we'd love to meet you.
Or WhatsApp. We'd love to meet with you in person if we can. That'd be great. But besides that, again, really the biggest parts of this is we want you to experience this product, because they talk about a picture like this picture here, beautiful, is worth 1,000 words, right? A picture's worth 1,000 words. A video, they say, is worth 1,000 pictures. You can watch a video, go, wow. But then they say an experience is worth 1,000 videos. My wife being from South Africa, the first time I came to South Africa, I saw pictures and I went, wow, South Africa. So I saw videos, I'm like, wow, South Africa. When I came here, I'm like, wow, South Africa. How many people know that the experience that I had here in South Africa was completely different than just seeing a picture, right? We want you to experience this product. So get together with the person, make sure you get the information. You got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Do all your research you want, but the more you research, the more you be like us and go, wow, this is amazing. So the last thing we'll just end in this is that with all the things that are going on in this world, there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of challenges, a lot of uncertainties in the world. The one thing that we know for certain is what? This is it. So God bless you guys. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you real soon. Get back to the people and let us know if we can talk to you as well. We'd love to talk to you.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.
Yeah, have a blessed evening.
And a good day.
Yep. God bless you. Take care. Thank you.